All right, here with reaction to all the breaking news. Yeah, Robert Mueller agreed to testify, former independent counsel. They changed the law to the special counsel law. Ken Starr is with us. You worked under a very different circumstances. You didn't have an option as it relates to testifying. The issue of you were compelled to release this. Interestingly, it was people like Jerry Nadler who didn't want your report to be public, although the law compelled it. And you took a lot of heat, if I recall correctly, Mr. Starr, for doing your job.
That's exactly right, Sean. It was, for me, the longest day back in November of 1998. And I think Bob Mueller is going to now have a very similar experience. And there will be, just as there were for me from the Democratic side of the aisle at the time, there are going to be, as you've been saying, and Senator Graham was saying, there are going to be very hard questions for Bob Mueller, and that's right. That's the way it should be. I should have gone up to testify, and Bob Mueller should go up to testify. Now, I greatly respect Senator Graham's that it's over, but in light of the fact that some 70 Democrats in the House of Representatives are crying for an impeachment inquiry, this is a logical step, and I think it's going to be an important day for the American people.
Yeah, well, I do think there are some very, very tough, difficult questions for Bob Mueller. I don't understand for the life of me with that broad mandate, as I've been saying. FARA violations, decades-old taxes. Yeah, by the way, everyone pay your taxes, don't lie on loan applications. We got it. Don't lie under oath. But how do you ignore a bought and paid for Russian dossier that was leaked to the American people by, we believe, the intelligence community to impact the election, Russian lies, whose own author says he doesn't know if any of it's true, which makes it unverifiable, but becomes the basis to spy on not only Carter Page, and there was other spying abroad, but the Trump campaign, transition, and presidency. Now, that was all based on something that is unverifiable based on the own author. How did he ignore that, sir?
Right. Well, it's a very good question. And I think what Bob Mueller will say is, look, this was handed to me. I didn't have occasion to go back and look at how it came to me. It's just, hey, here's the job. Now go do the job, as opposed to looking at the background of the job. But again, I think these are fair questions that you're raising, Sean. There's so many questions about the investigation itself, the why, the wherefore. You've raised some of them here tonight. And I think it's going to be really an important day. I keep coming back to the concept of accountability, because when Bob Mueller held his press conference but didn't take questions, I think we should be concerned about that. Why won't you respond to questions from the press? And now I think it's most appropriate that he goes before the People's House. I think both sides of the aisle, Democrats, Republicans, wanted this, and I'm glad that it's going to happen. I've got a lot of questions.
Do you think he has a hard time? Do you think he has a hard time answering the people he appointed, Weissman? How do you appoint Hillary Clinton's attorney? How do you only appoint Democrats, no Republican donors? How does he answer that?
Yeah, and I've raised concerns about that really from the get-go. And just very briefly, Sean, when questions were raised back during my investigation that, oh, you're a Republican, I reached out specifically to the other side of the aisle because the appearance of fairness and even-handedness in the administration of justice, it's very, very important. So we brought in Sam Dash of Watergate fame on the Democratic side. We brought in a deputy independent counsel, terrific guy, Mark Toohey, registered Democrat, voted for President Clinton and so forth. It's important to give the public assurances that what you're doing is fair, that it's even-handed. And that's, I think, a very important question for Bob Mueller to answer.
I was not impressed with this 9.5-minute disastrous press conference. This is not going to be what the Democrats think. I'll tell you that. Although Bob Mueller's people apparently, according to Fox News, just breaking, the subpoena is a friendly subpoena. He will only appear and stick to the four corners of the report. He's not going to say a thing.